Hi everybody, this is Uncle Grumpy. I'm still here at the Capitol, and today I'm sitting with Scott Fetgatter. He's a House representative. He's also on the Joint Committee. I like to call it the Joint Committee.
The Joint Committee.
He's going to tell us what he thinks is going on with the committee and where we're at for now. Scott, why don't you tell us where we're at?
Well, I appreciate you having me on today. We're in week 9 of the Joint Committee, bipartisan, bicameral committee studying medical marijuana. I am the representative for House District 16, which is Henrietta, Okmulgee, Morris, Shelter, Dewar, Haskell, goes up into part of Coweta, part of Broken Arrow, Leonard, all in through those areas. And so, but for me, I always like to let everybody know up front, Chris, that I actually was opposed to State Question 788, and it wasn't that I was opposed to medical marijuana at all. It was that I was opposed to the question written the way it was because I foresaw that the problems we're currently faced with. And you and I discussed that back in the last session.
Yes, we did.
And we were both very frustrated that we weren't able to get any legislation run in the last session. But I like to let people know that was why I was against the question. It wasn't that I was against the medical piece. It was just that I foresaw we were going to have the very problems that we're faced with right now. And so with that being said, once the question passed, I looked at it, Chris, like my opinion no longer mattered. What matters to me is that we effectuated the will of the people and that we implemented the process as quickly without interrupting the timelines. And so, as you know, we haven't interrupted how the implementation was actually written on and voted for by the people. But we know now after 9 weeks that there are many problems, which you and I both knew going into this, that we have some issues that need to be fixed. Now, the problem that I want everybody to kind of understand of how the legislature works, and I know you got real frustrated because I told you this a couple of weeks ago. I was like, look, the government moves slowly. And it doesn't move quickly, and you want it to move slowly and not quickly, because when government moves quickly, mistakes are made and it can be bad. And we're faced with that a little bit right now with the state question. The implementation process of 60 days has really caused a lot of difficulties for all of us. So what I want people to understand is, I know there's a big call for special session. So there are 2 options for special session. Either the governor could call special session, or the speaker and the Senate Pro Tem could get together and agree that they believe that we should have a special session. And then they have to go out and get 2/3 of the Senate to vote yes for a special session and 2/3 of the House to vote yes for a special session. So that's a very challenging maneuver to make happen. So where I think we're at right now is, after 9 weeks, I think everybody agrees the unity bill is probably the right direction for the legislature to be headed. But I don't believe we have enough support in the legislature to get the speaker and the Senate Pro Tem on the same page and two-thirds of both bodies to call a special session. So I'm just being realistic there. I'm not, I came into this fully believing and hoping that we were going to be able to come up with legislation. By the way, kudos to the advocacy groups, the grassroots movements. You guys did exactly what we asked you to do, and that you came together and you came up with language that you all agreed on and presented it to us in the unity bill. I know there were some outliers, a few people who weren't happy with it, but for the majority, the grassroots movement really, no pun intended, came together. Puns are okay. Joint committees and all those kinds of things. What did I say the other day? I said something about, because I'm really big into commerce. I talked about this being a budding industry. You have to like that. So anyway, I don't believe that we have the support to be able to call a special session from the legislature side of things. So I think the only way you would get that would be from the governor's side. So for me, directly addressing your question, as a legislator, my goal is to understand, and you and I had a conversation before about being in the bubble, I have to remove myself from the capital bubble or the medical marijuana bubble or whatever bubble that I get caught up in, and I have to get into reality, which is my district and my constituents. Now, right now it's campaign season, so we as politicians, we're knocking on doors daily, talking to as many people as we can because we're trying to get reelected. So what I can tell you is that while the majority of the population, obviously, that voted in June was very supportive of the medical marijuana piece, right now Oklahomans have not shown me, as their representative of my district, that they are ready for recreational, full access marijuana. So while that's why it took 10 years, going back to your statement, it took 10 years for Oklahomans to say, okay, well, you know what, maybe medical marijuana, maybe that works, maybe that's okay. So it could take 10 years before you see Oklahomans be ready for recreational or full access, as you refer to it. So what I would say is when my constituents start signaling to me that they want, just like they were with medical, and I moved and I acted, when they start signaling to me in large volumes of people that they want recreational, then I would be the person that would say, okay, my constituents want recreational, both Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, I don't care what party. I'm receiving a signal from all of my constituents that that's what they want. At that point, that's when you and I would be having that discussion.
Okay, folks, if you are in Scott's district, you now have a message to deliver to Scott. Please get that taken care of. I'm going to wrap this up. Tell us where you think this is headed, if you can, fairly quickly. As far as next week, are we doing this again next week?
I think we're. It's my understanding that the Senate has something that they want to propose to the House members on the committee to do and wrap this up for now, and then wait till regular session. Okay. I will know more about that this afternoon, and we'll get that information to you.
Great. And can I get you maybe to come back on here next week and we can talk about it some more?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. That's it. Scott, tell us again where you're running.
Yep. Scott Fetgatter, House District 16, which is, I actually live in Okmulgee, and it's that surrounding area from Henrietta, goes up into Coweta and Broken Arrow.
Okay, folks, that's it for now from the Capitol. I'll see you on the road.